All right, let me start here. I forgot to record earlier. I hope you can hear me now. Adiremi, it's still breaking. Is that situation with everybody? Is it breaking? Is it breaking? Confirm that very quickly with the chat. Please drop a message. Oh, what do we do now? Let me see if I can switch to another network. Let's see. Let's try this particular one. It's not really breaking. Okay, maybe those guys will need to check their network as well. I don't know. I'm trying my best here. Let me turn to another network and find out. Can hear me. So if you're not hearing, kindly check it out. I guess it might be from your end now. I'll switch to another network. All right, so let's go ahead. I just started recording. So let me just make a recap of that. If you are installing packages, so you come here to tools, you click on install package, you type the name of the package you're installing, and then you click on install. It will install the package, and you see the package listed here. Now, when you're done installing the package, the next thing you do is that you need to load the package, and that is what this library does. All right, you load the package here. That's one method of loading. Another method of loading the package is you come here where the packages are listed and tick any of this, and load the package. And that's it. You just loaded the package. All right. And when you're done loading the package, you can now make use of all the functions inside the package. All right. If you click on any of this now, you'll be able to read more about it. Be able to read more about it. It's a whole lot of documentation. Okay. So we don't want to go into that right now. The next thing we looked at is multi-line commenting. We looked at multi-line commenting, and we said if you're commenting multi-line, you highlight the lines you are commenting, and then you click on Control Shift and C. Control Shift and C, comment multi-line, and then Control Shift and C uncomment that portion again. All right. Done with that. I keep getting messages. Uh, all right. Thank you very much. You probably missed are kind of the tools, all right? If you go to farm as a farmer, you need calculus, you need packages are packages. All right.
There's a problem there. It's not talking. There's a problem from your end. Please check.
Now, is it better? Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So if it ever goes out like that again, just drop a message on WhatsApp. I'll be looking at the WhatsApp briefly. So just drop a message on WhatsApp if it ever goes out again. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's move on very quickly. So let me just retouch on this before the network went out. So if we assess, this is a vector, a numeric vector of ages. So if we are assessing any of the elements here, they all have their positions. The first, the second, the third, the fourth, as simple as that. So if I'm assessing the first element, I go like ages, square bracket 1. And if I run that, that should give me 30. If I'm assessing the third element here, which is 16, how do I go? 16 is in which position? 16 is in position number 3. I run this line of code, it gives me 16, as simple as possible. Now, what is the benefit of all of this? If this were not to be ages, let's say this was price, and all of this were price of an item, right? If you run this, of course, remember ages is still having a value separate on its own, but we now have price. So if I want to say And these are prices of a particular item. I don't know. Let's say there are 4 different items, and I'm saying, you know, let's say I went to the market and then I bought these four different items, and these are the prices. Let's say in US dollars, right? And I want to add them together. Let's just do this very simple one. Sum all, right? So, and I want to use this indexing method, this slicing method, to call each of the prices, right? So what I will just do is very simple. I'll do price. Remember, square bracket 1. And then I'll add it to what? Price, square bracket 2. You can see how simple that is. Let me just add the first 3. And I'll say price, square bracket 3. All right. This is supposed to give me the value of 30 plus 34 plus 16. Let's do that. Good. But it's not showing, right? That's because I'm yet to call the object. So let me call the object itself, sum all. This is the object holding the sum, and gives me 80. Good. Meaning 30 plus 34 plus 16 is 80. That is correct. So this is one of the advantages of indexing, slicing. You are able to get the exact number you want at any position at all. All right. All right. So let's go to the next thing. So the next thing we want to look at is, we want to add an element to this particular element price. All right. Let's say we want to add another one to it. How do we do that? How do we do that? That is very simple. Shall we go? So let's say we want to add another element. We'll do like this. Price equals to, like this. Now we'll put the C here. Take note of this. Price here, but we have a comma, and then we add the new thing we are adding. Let's say we are adding okay, there is a 16 there. Let's say we are adding 10 here, right? 10 will now be added to price. Okay, if I run this and I ask for what the new price is, see that 10 has been added to the end of it. 10 has been what? Has been added to the end of it. That's right. 10 has been added to the end of it. So the next thing we do, we can find the mean. We can find the mean of these numbers. And that is very simple. For those who may not be familiar with what mean is, a statistical measure that measures, you know, the level of, you know, the average, as we know it commonly to mean. All right. So mean is the same thing as average. So let's say we are looking for the mean of price. So what do we just type? We type mean, simple as that. And then we type price. So it will look at these numbers. And what is mean? Mean is adding all the numbers together divided by their numbers, right? 30, 34, 16, and 70. Remember, we've added 10 to it, so price is now different. Let me add this portion of code here so that we don't make that mistake. Right, we've added price now no longer just ending at 70. Price now has 10 added to it. So if we're looking for the mean of this, we type this, and this goes like this. Okay, how do we confirm if this is correct? Let's do it manually. Let's do it in a crude way. Let's say mean 1 as a name of an object. Mean is a function name. So mean 1. Remember, if we are adding all of this together, let's do it manually. 30 plus 34 plus 16 plus 70. Remember, plus 10. Let's give it this. I'm trying to be manual and very crude here. And we divide this by how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We divide by 5. This should give us 32. Otherwise, let's run our mean. Correct. So you can see that the mean was correct. All right. The mean was correct. So we want to do something again. We want to subset. We want to perform some operation that will kind of reduce whatever is here. Let's say you are looking for values that are greater than 30. values that are greater than 30. How do you do that? All right. So let's say I'm looking for another, say, let's call that high price. High price. Take note. High price are prices, a price that are greater than 30. How do I do that? Square bracket. Then I'll say price greater than 30. Take note. It's going to return only 34 and 70. High price. Price is the object itself. Now, in square brackets, I want only the ones that are greater than 30 to be returned. So when I do this, all right, and I highlight high price and I run, it's returning just 34 and 70. You can see how awesome and beautiful that is. Okay. Now, let's just wait for a while and let's see. Do we have anyone with questions? If you're following, just type you're following. I'll wait for 10 seconds. If you're following, just type you're following. And if you're actually trying it at your own end too, that's very good. Okay, very good. That means we are moving on. Okay, slowly but steady. Following. Good. If you're on the call, you should be following. Okay, when it is 9 o'clock, P Divine, please drop in the chat what the problem is so that I can address it later. Drop in the chat what the problem is. I will address it later. Okay, thank you very much. Everyone is following. So we are moving on to the next thing. We've been able to do that. So let's move into matrix. Let's see how we can do a couple of operations in matrix. All right. We are done with this. So let's perform a couple of operation matrices. Right. So let's say you have a matrix of this. Remember how we built matrix yesterday? So we are building a matrix of 1 to 6. Right. A matrix is a two-dimensional array. Right. Number of row is equals to 2. Number of column, it's how you type that, equals to 3. All right. This will give us a matrix the same way we have. So let's see how that looks like. So that you'll understand what we have just done. Sorry, I had to include some settings so that we don't disturb ourselves in the meeting. All right. Now, this is what you get from the matrix that we created. All right. So we're going to perform some operations right now on this particular matrix. And one of the operations we want to perform is that we want to access the elements. So if I want to access, take notes, look at what is on the screen here. Consider this. I want to ensure that it's okay. You'll get that later. I'll explain that later. So let's come here. So let's say you want to access a particular element here. Now that makes it very easy. 1 here is telling you this is column 1, this is column 2, this is column 3. Then 1, 2 here is telling you this is row 1, left to right is row. This is row 2. All right, this is row 2. So if you want to look for element 3, element 3 is in what row? Row 1, column 2. All right, row 1, column 2. So if I'm looking for element 3, I'll type mat. This is the name of the matrix. Square bracket. The first thing you put as an argument is the row, which is 1, comma. The next is the column, which is 2. I'm looking for element 3. This is not 1 plus 2, please. I'm looking for element 3, you take the position of the row of that the row that the element is occurring at, and then the column the element is occurring at. When you do that, you'll be getting that particular element. So for this, click on I type this and I get 3. That's simple. So here we are accessing element in the matrix. All right. The next thing we're going to do for this matrix is that we are going to sum the row. We're going to sum the row. There's a very simple function for that in matrix. It's called row sums. See that? It's coming out. Row sums of the entire matrix. Row sums of the entire matrix. How will that look like? Let's run that and see. Row sum. That gives us 9 and 12. 9 and 12. Can we do the row sums? The first rule is 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 5, that is 9. The second rule is 2 plus 4 plus 6, that is 6 plus 6, that is 12. So the row sum is correct. Let's try column sum. That's very simple. It's col sums. So let's say col sums comes out. So we are summing the columns of this matrix. For those who are into high-level computations, you're already seeing how to deal with two-dimensional data, when you find them. More like a matrix kind of. So if you run this now, you get, remember there are 3 columns. 1 plus 2, first column is 3. 3 plus 4, second column is 7. And the other one, 5 plus 6 is 11. All right. So beautiful one there. There's an operation in matrix. We won't go far into matrix computation here, but there's a particular operation in matrix that is called transpose. Transpose. So let's go back to this matrix. So what is transpose? This matrix is actually a 2 by 3 matrix. 2 row, 3 column matrix. 2 row, 3 column matrix. If you are transposing this matrix, it becomes a 3 by 2 matrix. 3 by 2 matrix. That means 3 row, 2 column. And what happens on this? On the first column, you will now have 1, 3, 5 from up to down. 1, 3, 5, first column. Second column will now be 2, 4, 6, up to down, top to down. All right. So let's do that. Let's try and look for the operation of the transpose. So transpose is not typing it in transpose. It's just using a single letter T. All right, single letter T for transpose, and then you type the matrix there that you are transposing. When you do this, it's going to give you the transpose of that matrix, and this is what you get. Remember, I said it's going to transpose it, and it has just done that. It's just done that for us. It's now 1, 3, 5, up to down, and then 2, 4, 6. That is what a matrix transpose is. And if I decide to transpose again by, okay, let's say I give this an object, T maths. Okay, is this, right? Let's say T math is this, and I try to look for T math, 135, right? Now I'm going to transpose T math itself. See what that happens. This is what happens. Oh, I transpose T math itself. I go back to maths. I go back to my original matrix. Did you see that? I transpose T math. I go back to my original matrix. This is beautiful. So the transpose of a matrix is the matrix itself. Sorry if that is too big. Just know that you can do this operation in a matrix. Is that correct? So let's move ahead. So we want to do assessing of data frame. That will be the next data structure that we are looking at. Our data structure that we are looking at, data frame. It is 9. Will take a few minutes to answer a couple of questions, and then we'll move ahead. So data frame. So let's create a data frame like we did the other time, but this time we're just going to create a data frame of just 2 columns. All right, so let's say we have a data frame. Remember, data.frame is what you use to create a data frame. Don't be confused. Data frame is just like a table. All right, the normal table you find in out there that has all kinds of data in it. That's the beautiful thing about data frame. You cannot have the kind of information you have in data frame in matrix. Matrix is constrained to just be numbers only, but in data frame you can have a column having a particular information, another column having another type of information, and so on and so forth. All right, so we are going to have two columns in this data frame. The first column is going to be name. All right, so let's just create what name is. Remember how you do this. Let's say someone is John, and then the next person is Shade. Even if I type it like this, I can always select and do this. Shade. Good. So let's go into the next one. So let's say we want to add their age to this. All right. So let's say John is 25 and Shade is 31. Okay. John is younger than Shade. Good. So we do this and we're done with creating our data frame. All right. So let's run this. That will be our data frame. We have our data frame ready. Let's load our data frame and see what comes out. Look at it. We have a data frame called DF, and the data frame has two columns. The first column is name, the second column is age, and the data inside the first entry is John, whose age is 25. The second entry is Shade, whose age is 31. All right. So let's say we are adding okay, let's say I want to access the names only. Data frame is very it's very unique. So let's say I want to access the name only. I want to access the name. I use what you call name referencing. I'll do this and then I'll access name. No, that's not supposed to be. That is supposed to be $sign. Supposed to be $sign. Name, not and sign. So if I do this, it's going to give me the column of name only. Let's do that. Gives me John and Shade. Of course, if I do the same thing for the age, it's going to give me age. What happens if I want to add another column that is called height? How do I do that? That is very simple. I will just do DF. I'm adding another column. I'm calling that column height. Now I have to supply the information what that column is. Simple. So let's say one of them is 6 feet and the Shade is 5.3. That's their height, right? That's their height. And if I do this, surprisingly, if I run DF again, you will see that DF has height included. It has height included. All right. Okay. So if you have any questions, drop it in the chat. I'm going to answer your questions very soon. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat. I'm going to be answering your questions very soon. So let's do a bit of some work. Let's do a bit of some subsetting of the data. Let's say I am looking for those whose ages are less than 30. Okay, those whose ages are less than 30. When it was in vector, you knew how to do that, but here this is in data frame. So what I'll do is this. There is something you call subset. Is a function subset. You can actually still assign this to a particular object. Let's say age less 30. See now, you can call it this. Then you are subsetting, subset. So when you click, after subset, you do this, the data frame and the condition. Now, what is the condition? The age is less than 30. Age is less than 30 here. So when I click on this, run, that is it. So let's see the new data frame that we have just created with age less than 30. Oh, only one met that condition. Only one met that condition. I could have said height. Pardon my long name. Height, frame, height, right? Okay, let's use greater than 5. That's what happens. That should return everything. Let's go. All right, let's run this. Good, we have the entire data frame back. Beautiful. So let's perform some more operation on data frame. Now, please pay attention. This is very important. To make it faster, let me bring a couple. Let me just move in a couple of codes from my other screen here. Let me move in a couple of codes from my other screen. All right, check this out. So this is actually 2 data frames. We want to do something here. All right, we want to do something, and what is that thing? We want to merge data frames. That is it. We want to make data frames. So there are 2 data frames here. One is having ID and value. The other one is having ID and group. All right. So, of course, you know how here we are creating the first data frame. Here we are creating the second data frame, line 54 and 57. Let's load it. We've created the F1, the first data frame. Let's see what that is. That is it. And then let's load this. We've created the F2, the second data frame. Let's load this and see. See, they are different data frames, but they have something similar, which is a field called ID. Okay, let's move ahead. So what do we do now? We want to merge this data frame. All right. So let's merge by the ID. And by doing that, let's create a third data frame. Let's merge by the ID. There is a function called merge. You see? Merge. There's a function called merge. That's what we use to merge data frame. What's the first data frame? It's df1. Second data frame is df2, right? And remember, what are we merging by? We are merging by the field. By the field. ID. This has to be in quotes, please. This has to be in quotes. The ID has to be in quotes. The name of the field we are merging by. If we run this, you have df3. Well, let's see what df3 is. Okay, df3 is 1, 2, 3 ID. Value is 10, 20, 30. Good. But where is the 4 in df2? We are able to see 1, 2, 3. Where's the 4? Where is the D in the group? Now, this actually truncates the values that are not showing in the smaller table. All right, there are 3 elements in the smaller table. So when you merge them using this method, the most elements you will see, even if df2 were to have up to 10,000 ID, you will only see 3. All right, because ID will be constrained to follow the length of the smaller data frame. Is that correct? All right, so let's do another method where we can specify that, please do, I want all my second data frame items to be showing, or I want all my first data frame items to be showing. All right, so that is another way of merging. All right, so let me just copy this and add a couple of things. So let's say here. All right. Remember, in this case, when you get the notes, it's more explanatory. So let's say here, you are merging by column ID. Sorry, this is supposed to be a comment. But the next one we're going to do now, you are actually going to be keeping all rows of the first. They're going to be keeping all the rows of the first data frame. Keep all rows of first DF. Okay. Keep all rows of first DF. So how do you do this? So you're going to add one more parameter. Of course, it's still by ID. You say all dot X. This X means this first one here. This is X. This is Y. Okay, all dot X equals to true. It's not getting complicated. No, it's not. In case you think it's getting complicated, it is not. The more you do this, the more it becomes part of you. And later on, as you will see, I'm going to show you, how you can get some help within this same R Studio when you need to remember some things. All right. Here. All right. So this is all.x, meaning that I want to keep all of this. This is supposed to be a comment. All right. So let's run this particular one now, but we need to change this to be DF4, another data frame there. All right. So let's run this. So when we run this, we see that what's DF4? This is still the same thing like what we had, right? Yeah, but it's going to change when we are now considering that we want all DF2 to show. So let's repeat that. I'm going to just copy and change a few things. All right. Here. Here as well. Pardon me. I think I'm being lazy here. All right. So we want all of this to show. We want to keep all the rows of DF2. So in this way, DF2 is the Y. Remember I said DF1 is X, DF2 is Y. If we do this, change this to DF5, a new one now. If we run this, let's go and search what DF5 is. Okay, look at this. You constrained the results to make sure it included all DF2. And for this reason, all the ID of DF2 is showing, the group is showing. However, where it is not finding value, the corresponding value in DF1, it puts an NA there, meaning no data, or there is no value, NA, not applicable. Okay? So I hope that is correct. So let's take a break now and respond to some questions. If you have questions, please post those questions now. I'm going to allow you to be able to speak. If you need to speak, unmute yourself and ask your questions right now. We'll do that for the next 2 minutes. Do you have any questions? Anyone with any questions, please?
Yes, sir. I have a question also. In the last class, we were talking about equals to and assigning. So,
yeah,
but I'm still seeing like some places whereby you're using equals to, like the data frame where you use name equals to C brackets.
yeah.
So
Thank you very much. I quite understand that. So you would need equals to inside your operations, okay? You don't completely discard equals to. But when it comes to object assignment, please take note. Object assignment here. Object assignment. So everything in this right-hand side, you are assigning it to what is in the left-hand side. So in R, more preferably, you are expected to use this sign, this backward arrow sign. All right. So yeah, you would always see all of this in between here. They have their own purpose, but these assignments, preferably you use this. Remember, we also said you can use equal to, that also works, but if you want to be a professional arrow user, use that particular option. Great. So any other question, please, before we go ahead? Any other question? All right. So I will assume that there are no more questions, so we keep it moving. But if you have no questions and you are following me, just give a thumbs up, give a comment in the chat very quickly, so that I can be sure that you are following. Please just drop a message in the chat. Drop a message in the chat. That's one of the advantages of attending the live session. If you're following and you are also practicing, a couple of persons may not at the moment, possibly because they are okay. Good. So you're following. Thank you, Bankole. Very well. Okay, so what errors are you getting? If you're getting any errors, post your errors in the chat. I'll tell you what to do or how to solve that. If you're having any errors, post the error in the chat. I'll tell you how to solve your error. Okay, so thank you very much. I'll check the chat later and try to see how much of those problems we can solve before we leave today's class. All right, so let's go to something else. Let's check out something else still very important. Let's look at lists. All right, this time around, I am going to copy a couple of things on my second screen and bring here. So let's look at list operations. Remember, we said list is one of those data structures. So let's say we are creating this list. When you are creating lists, what do you use in creating list? This list. Take note of that. List. All right. So name is John. The GPA is 3.5. The grades is this. So the first item on the list is name, having the value in Python. This is more like a dictionary. All right, those who are familiar with Python, this is a dictionary, but here it's a list. So there's a name equals John, there's a GPA equals 3.5, there is grades equals to this. Let's run this. Let's see what comes out. You see this? Please take note of what we are saying here. Name, C, dollar name, dollar GPA, dollar grades. All right? Okay. The reason I'm showing you that is we are going to start assessing each of these elements. All right? If I want to assess this name here, how do I do that? Very simple. I will say my list. Dollar name should give me John. Let's run that. Correct. It's John. All right. I want to assess my GPA. I will edit that very quick. Okay. My list. Dollar GPA. That gives me this. If I want to assess all the grades, fine. My list, dollar grades, right? Let's do that. My list, dollar grades, right? How do I assess something inside the grades? Let's say I want to assess 80 directly. I want to assess 80 directly. How do I assess that? If you have an answer, post it very quickly in the chat. How do I access 80? How do I access 80? I will leave what looks like the answer on the screen. The answer is somewhere on the screen if you can find it. How do I access 80? Let me have the chat. Drop an answer. How do I access 80? Have an answer, push that forward quickly. Let's see if you are following. Okay, so the error you posted here, DF John not found. So you have not run that line of code. So put your cursor in that line of code and go up and click on run. Yo, Modi. Put your cursor on that line of code and click on run. DF John will be created. The data frame will be created and you will not get that error again. Okay? It's good, errors are coming. So what's the answer to that? How do I assess? I want to know if you're following. How do I assess, 80, for example? How do I access 80? How do I access 80? Give me an answer. How do I access 80? Somebody is typing. Hurry up. Oh, please, let's hurry up. Our time is running. All right, nobody is sending in their answers. So let's see. Remember when we wanted to assess everything, we used dollar grades, right? But you can also drill more into dollar grade. But how do you drill more into dollar grades? Remember, dollar grades here in itself is a vector. Let's see some answers coming in. Okay, just $1. Just a square bracket of 1. 80 is in position number 2. So you are near to the answer. All right, so if I'm going for 80, after the dollar grades, I'm going to put a square bracket because I'm going inside grades. And 80 is position number 2. I'm going to do this. So if I run this, I hope I'm right. Yes, I'm getting 80. That means if I want to put 3 here, you know what I'm looking for, right? What happens if I put 4? Oh, there is nothing there. There is nothing in 4. So it gives me an NA. It gave me an NA. If I notice that people are not attending the live class, I may no longer be dropping the recording. All right. The purpose is for everyone to attend the live class. So yeah, that's it. But for this particular one, I'm going to drop the recording. Maybe subsequently, I will send directly to the emails of those who attend. I'll get your email once you come on board, and then I'll send the recording to your email only. We want to make sure that you are attending the live class. It's more important than going to the recording, because many persons don't practice from the recording. Okay, so that is it. So let's move further. Yeah, so let's say we want to, okay, another way, let's check this out. If I want to assess the same, let's say I want to, let me just do this. Hold on. Let me do this. What will this give me? It's giving me John, right? What will this give me? This is another way of indexing, of getting insight, all right? And then if I'm trying the third one, it's giving me this. If I want to go into 80 this time around, let me try doing this and 2. Oh, Can you see that? So I just showed you another method now of accessing a list. It's either you use the name convention, where you call the, this, and this using the $sign, or you use square bracket, double square bracket. Take note, double square bracket. The first one here goes to the name, the second one goes to the grade, the GPA, and the third one goes to the grades. But when you're done with that, how do you now assess what is kind of a subset inside the grades? Another square bracket will come outside here, this, for you to assess what is inside here. Remember, it is positional. 90 is the first, 80 is the second, 95 is the third. That is how you can assess this. I hope that is simple enough. So if I want to add something, if I want to add an element, let's say I want to add a particular group. Okay, I have name, I have GP, I have grades. Let's say I want to add age.
Right.
Okay, is anyone having an issue there? I can see. All right, let's move forward. If I want to add something, so let's say I want to add age to my list. And this is the name of the list. I want to add age. How do I do that? I'll do this, sorry. Square bracket, age, the name of what I'm adding. And I can now give an answer here. Let's say 40, right? 40. And if I it's already added. So if I check on my list again, age is the last thing here. Okay, so this guy is 40 years of age. So I stored the information of John in a list. I was able to get John's name, I was able to get John's GPA, and I was able to get the grades of John. All right, this is cool. This is cool. You're already beginning to think about its application right now. All right, so let's move ahead. Let's move forward. We want to look at some operations or some operators, arithmetic operators, comparison operators, and logical operators. Again, arithmetic operators, comparison operators, and logical operators. All right, so let's look at a few of them. I'm going to copy from my second screen right here. You're going to get it in the notes that will be sent to you later. All right, so now here we are looking at working arithmetic, comparison, logical operators. Okay, so look at this. Okay, this is how to do plus. We've done this in the passing, till now. So this is how to do plus, 1 plus 1. This is how to do subtraction, minus. This is the sign. This particular sign is on your number 8 on your keyboard. This is multiplication sign, a star. The division sign is just a slash. Okay. And then you have exponentiation. Exponent. So if I say 5 to the power of 2, what does that mean? It means 5 times 5. If I run this line of 5 exponential, you have 25. That means 5 times 5. Okay. These are basic arithmetic. 4 divided by 2 is 2, all right, and so on and so forth. But there's something that may not be too familiar here, and that is the modulo, the modulus. So what is modulus? Modulus has to do with remainder. So if you say 10 modulus 3, what you are saying is what will remain if I divide 10 by 3 after the whole number result. What remains? What remains? So 10 divided by 3, I will have 3, remainder 1. 3, remainder 1. So 3 by 3 is 9. Then the other one is what makes it 10. So here, 10 modulus is 10%. This double percent sign is modulus. Okay. So if I say 10 modulus 3, the answer should be 1. All right. 10 modulus 3, the answer is 1, as you can see there. All right. Okay. So we move ahead. Let's look at something else. Let's look at logical operators. Logical operators. I'm sure you must have seen logical operators at one point or the other. We are going to be using it very frequently here. Logical operators. So let me bring it. Okay, let's do that here. Logical operators. So let's say we have this is a logical operator. True. The operation here is this and sign. True. What happens when you and is a logical operator when you and true and true? So if it's true and true and as an operator, then the answer here is true. True and true, then the answer is true. Take note of this operation. If it is true and false, of course, the answer is what? The answer is false. Always remember that. If it is false, hello? Hello? Am I audible? Oh, okay. Sorry, my power just got this. Okay, good. So, all right. I'm trying to put everything. Okay. Please confirm if you can see my screen. The R screen, is it still showing at your end? Is the arrow screen showing? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so if you have a force, You have false and true. Come on, tell me what the answer is. Answer is false. So when they are alternate, the answer is always false. But when they are both true, the answer is true. However, when they are both false, you know what the answer is. The answer is false. This is what logical operator is. Okay, take note of this. So you only have one true here. Okay, so the next thing we are looking at is the OR operator. The OR operator. So the OR operator. So for the OR operator, if it is true or true, if it is true, this is the logical, this is the operator, this straight line is the operator. If it is true or true, let's run let's treat them right now. Let's treat them right now. So move ahead. If you have any questions, please drop get into the end of this, or if you have any questions, please drop them. All right, so we are going to look very quickly into something, and that is if you need to make use of Excel sheet. You're no longer seeing my screen, I guess. Is my screen showing? Okay, please confirm now. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, remember all of this. These are very, 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 very important. Okay, so if you are, so the next thing we are looking at, if you want to, let's say you have a CSV file and you want to upload it, I want to be sure the messages that are coming in, no longer showing, come on, should be showing now. Please check. Once it's showing, drop a message. It should be showing now. I don't know, the network is not friendly tonight. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So we want to see how you can import. Importing a CSV. Okay. Importing a CSV to our studio. Okay. All right. So so the first thing you want to do is this. Let's say you are working from a particular folder. All right, this is the R folder in my system here. This is the folder for the R training in my system. So please take note of this. This is very important too. I'm going to try to, set this working directory in my R. That means I'm working from here. All right. So if you're working from any folder, you do the same thing. There's a way you set your working directory. You set WD, set working directory. You are going to point R Studio to that particular working directory in quotes. You do this. However, you must manually change this / to /. R will not recognize it like this. Please take note of this. You change this to /. If you don't want to do it like this, you can do it at once by coming here, changing this, all of them to this. All right. So you're going to replace 6 of them have been replaced automatically. So you use this particular this here, put what you want to find that you want to change here, and then the replacement, you click on all, everything will be changed. So I have done that here. So if I do this, I'm going to set that as my working directory. All right. So since this is my working directory, if I want to import a CSV, unfortunately, I don't have a CSV. So let me see if I can do something very quickly. Excel, my entire screen is showing. I believe you can see the Excel I'm trying to open. So Excel, let's say I'm doing this name, all right, and then age. Of course, you're familiar with this kind of data, I guess. And let's say school, the name of your school. So age is Paul White. That's the name. And then the age is 21. School is Methodist Boys. So I will just copy this and put here. This is Paul Green. And Paul Green is 24. Paul Green also attends Methodist Boys. So I'm going to save this as a CSV deliberately. All right. Where am I saving to? I will go and save this in that working directory of my R training. I'm going to the working directory of my R training. I guess, is it this? I think so. But I'll look for a CSV and save CSV. I think this is the CSV, right? So I'll call that data, school data. Take note of the way I typed it, school data. I'm going to copy that CSV. I hope I saved correctly. Okay, so I just saved that, and yeah, I think I'm good to go. So I've saved as Excel. Let's see. So how do I read a CSV? How do I read a CSV? Let me create an object for that. The function is read.csv. Read.csv, as simple as that. And because this working directory is pointed to that folder, FREEEE training, I'm just going to do this, the name of the CSV dot CSV. Okay, that's it. I hope. Good. So let's see what DF is, if that worked. Voila. Did you see that? Paul White, Paul Green, age. This is the same way you can bring into R any data that is in CSV. At the same time, the same way you can also do this, these for your Excel. Yes, no worries, no issues. You are going to get up to speed with what we have done. You're going to get up to speed with what we have done. So this is indeed very wonderful. So for those who are just used to see Excel format, I'll also show you how to do this in Excel. But let's say you have a data frame, okay? Let's say you have a data frame, and this is a data frame, and you want to send it out of R, okay? You want to send it out of R. What you do is that you send it out. So you want to send it out as a CSV. What you do is that you write, okay, .csv. Take note of that. You write .csv, and you do this. The first thing is what you are sending out. And the next thing is the name of it, or the destination of where you are sending it to. So we're going to call this one out data frame .csv. Because your R Studio is pointing to this place, you are going to see this particular CSV there once I run it. It's run. Let's go and check it out. Out.csv is right here. You see that? CSV is right here. Good. Of course, you can read that in again. So you can do the same thing for Excel if you want to run Excel. So I'll leave you to do that. I will only give you the code for Excel. If you want to import Excel, remember that Excel normally has sheets, sheet 1, sheet 2, right? So if you want to do that very well, this is how you go about that. This is how you go about that. I'm not going to try that here today. So you save the data. The data is always on XLSX. So you specify which of the sheets you actually want to reference. Okay. Let me even try it. So if this is the Excel, for example, if this is the Excel, this is already sheet 2. Let me call this sheet 1. Okay. I'm going to have this copied here as sheet 2, right? But change a few things. This should be 20. This should be 30, just for you to know that there is a difference in those two. So I'm going to save this really as Excel. Let me save as. I'm going to save this as Excel sheet, not as a CSV now. I'm going to save as an Excel workbook in the free rcourse. I think I'm right here. I hope I'm right where I'm saving it now. Okay, Excel workbook. Okay. Let's see if we have that here. Is it school data? Did I save it with school data? Let's see. What? Excel. I'm trying to see the format here. Okay, thank God. Excel, which one is Excel now? Excel workbook. Okay, school data. Okay, so let's go back to our R. Sorry. Okay, so let's say school data. Let's see if this works. Okay, so something is happening. The function read Excel is not here. So that means there is supposed to be what's it called now? There's supposed to be a package that has this function, and that package has not been added yet. Okay, so let it be as an assignment for you guys. Look for the package that is able to help you read Excel. Once you install that package, then this particular function should work. Of course, that is a very simple thing to do. All right, so we are going to leave it here for tonight. I will be open to questions in the next few minutes. I will answer those questions, and then we'll call it a day. So if you have any questions, please drop your questions right now. Have any questions, please drop your questions. I'm right here. I want to answer your questions. Please, if you have any questions, drop them. Or you have any comment, please let me hear you. Somebody, okay, don't worry. The recording will be available. The recording will be available. We'll send it to the group. Not just the recording. We normally give also the resource, the file for the work. So immediately after the class now, I'll drop that on the platform. So you have access to that. Sorry about the network issue. So do we have any questions, please? Do we have any questions? I'll stop recording now.